my channel. Welcome if you're new here. My name is Taylor Parnell. I'm originally from San Diego, California, now living in Israel the last 7 years, which is mind-blowing. These are our fur kids. We also have 2 cats at home. If you're new here, welcome to our family. We would love you to join our family. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notifications so you never miss a video with us. Today's video is highly requested. I've been updating you guys with my horses' shoes to barefoot transition. So Prince is my black Hanoverian. He's about 17 years old, and Edward is my white Arabian quarter horse mix, and he is 18 years old. Edward had his shoes on for a little under a year, and Prince has had his shoes ever since he was in work, from what I understand. I got him 2 years ago, but from what I understand, he's always had horse shoes until I got him, and then he didn't have back shoes. And long story short, he has a lot of different health conditions and problems. So I'll get into that into another video to discuss those things because I'm still trying to evaluate some certain things. But Prince has had his shoes off for just over 2 months. November to December, January, April. So at the end of February, he'll have his shoes off for 3 months. And then Edward will be around like mid-February, he'll have his shoes off for 2 months. So obviously, Edward's recovery is going to be a lot easier, which you can see in the films that I've posted that he's recovered a lot faster. Where Prince, it's going to take him more time, but I see a lot of positive things that are coming out of it, so I'm going to continue to keep his shoes off. And like I've said in my previous videos, their happiness and health is the most important thing to me. So for some reason he needs his shoes back on, I'm definitely going to do that. But he is pretty much retired. He's just a trail horse now. He was a dressage champion for 3 years in a row here in Israel, and so my goal for him is just for him to live the happiest, best horsey life he can. So I'm not on a huge rush to get him to the trail. I think I'm gonna walk him out on the trail, hand walk him and see how it goes. But yeah, like I wouldn't mind waiting longer. From what I've understood, every year that your horse has had shoes, it's gonna take a month for every year for them to recover. So if it's 7 years, it'll take 7 months. If it's 1 year, it'll take maybe 1 month. And this is just the average. Again, you guys, I'll put in here some clips of when I first took their shoes off. As you know, Prince threw his shoes when we were during war and the farrier couldn't come out. He threw them off, so he was just barefoot himself for 2 weeks. And then Edward, we removed his. I'll insert the clips here of when they first had their shoes off. And I did a week 1, a week 2, and a week 3 update. This is going to be like an overall update of like my sum of what I think has done for them. And then what I'll do is I will do like a 6-month, a yearly update for you guys. If that's something you're interested in, definitely drop in the comments. Also, I'd love to hear if you guys are horsey people, if you have horses, definitely drop in the comments what kind of horse you have, what's their name, how old they are. I would love to know if they have shoes, if any of you guys have experienced taking off shoes off your horse and taking them barefoot. I would love to learn more about it because the barefoot industry here in Israel, let alone the horse industry, is not, let's say, up to par with many other people around the world. So it's been hard for me to find a barefoot farrier. And my previous farrier who did my shoes, he basically took their shoes off, and since 30% of their large turnout area is cement, he said they'll chip and file for what they need, and it will make them less sensitive. He doesn't trim them. So through time, we let them chip as they need, and Edward was feeling and looking great. So I decided to start trimming his feet myself. And I know there's a lot of different small things to be aware of, angles and the way the foot is, filing down and the frog and all this. So I haven't gotten into the foot like deep at all. I just basically trim the outside because Edward's feet kind of grow out. So they become very flat and, what's the word, like, just flat, and they, like, grow quite far, the long nail, where Prince's feet grow up. So they're kind of, like, on stilettos. I don't know how to explain it. So Prince's feet, I actually haven't had to touch them at all. Literally, just last week, I gave them a little file along the sides, and that was good enough for him. To me, his feet look great already. They're short, and I'll insert the clips from today that I've taken for you guys. They look great. Now, I'm not saying that they're the best they can be. I think I'm going to bring the farrier out to see if he can just trim them up from his experience. But, that's where I start to get worried because I've seen some people who don't touch the frogs, who let their horses file them naturally, and a part of me thinks taking off that bottom part where the frog is becoming tougher and the surface area, I feel like it's not necessary, but again, I'm not educated enough to make that, decision. And my vet, I've also been in close contact with her. She said as long as the farrier approved it, it's good for them. So they've been doing well. Edward, I've trimmed twice, and obviously my partner, I've had his help because the strength to cut those nails is a lot more than you think. I've been riding horses since I was 4, so I have a pretty good understanding of how the foot should look, but I'm not an expert, like I said. And I would love to become an expert if I can find the right tools to do that. But anywho, so I'll insert a clip of us trimming Edward. And as you guys can see, his feet look great. He's feeling great. He's, not even acting like an 18-year-old like usual. So I've taken him out on the trail twice since he's had his shoes off. He's been a little bit sensitive on the gravelly, not full gravel, he's fine. But when it's the sporadic gravel, he comes a little bit sensitive, like he's walking on eggshells, but it's not anywhere near to where he can't recover or going lame. He's literally doing a little bit here and there on the trail. So my next goal is to start trotting and cantering and letting him enjoy the atmosphere. I just want to make sure his feet are strong enough and in the right condition. And then Prince, I haven't taken him out on the trail yet just because he seems still trying to navigate being barefoot. And I don't think he's sore. He's not hot-footed. He doesn't look lame, but he doesn't look comfortable 100% yet. But as time has gone on, especially in that first week with Prince, he has really become much more comfortable. And icing on the cake, this horse, Prince, he has this falling problem. And again, I'm not going to share that here because I want to make a whole video on it. But his previous owner told me, she's the one who shipped him in from Germany. She basically was when he was 10, he was in a competition. He started doing this falling thing after, and he's done it ever since. And he doesn't do it with a rider on, but he really stopped loving doing what he did. And I don't know if it's psychological, if it's connected with the shoes, but I haven't seen him doing the falling anymore. And the best part is she told me he never lays down, which I'm looking into getting cameras to get footage of this. But I've been seeing a lot of body prints of them laying together, it looks like. So there's a lot of high hopes for it. And again, I just want them to feel the best that they do and to be a horse and just to enjoy their life, however long it's going to be. And I think maybe a few tips just from me to you guys through this experience would be is that don't rush things. Pay attention to them. I always come and see my horses at least twice a day, and I watch them for at least an hour just to see how they're eating, what they're doing, how their movement is. I also recommend what I did was I made sure to pick at the beginning, especially the first month, I made sure to pick out their feet at least every other day just to keep it comfortable. And also with Prince, his feet, since they are wow, Edwards, when I first took his shoes off, were so crumbly to where they are now. I'll put a side by side of his feet in the beginning, and then here I'm gonna do a reel on Instagram so you guys can follow me there. And then they were kind of crumbly and gross, but they really have become amazing. And with Prince, since they're so sensitive, if he steps on a small rock and it gets inside, it can kind of bury in there a little bit more than usual, and that makes it unstable and or more sensitive. So in the first month, I really made sure to pick out their feet, but then now as time has gone on, I'm at least picking them out every 3 times a week at least. And I think that's also important in wintertime just because since their feet get so wet, you want to make sure they don't get too wet. Here we got a lot of rain this year, so far we were waiting for winter for so long and then finally got a lot of rain. So they've been in and out of the mud, but I do make sure to feed them where their feet are. They're both on a dry area so that they kind of hang out there more. Also, in the beginning, I made sure their food was only on dirt. Before, their food was on pavement and dirt, so they kind of just wander wherever they want to eat. But I really tried to encourage them to eat on the dirt. And before that, I actually made sure, because Prince, I kept him for like a week in like only dirt so that he wasn't on the cement, and then slowly transitioned him. Just put him a few hours out on the cement, and then, you know, the whole day, and then the whole 24 hours as long as he was looking pretty good. So, other than that, yeah, I still now have half their food on dirt, and then the other half, this loose leaf food that they get morning and night, is here on the cement. So again, I do want them to have different surfaces. It's going to help their feet get stronger. It's going to help, you know, wear in, not tear, but wear down their feet the way they should be. And I'm just paying very close attention to it. And it's been a really interesting experience sharing it with you guys, because I've noticed that it's been an interesting subject, and it's a very political, I feel, subject with horses. The barefoot, the shoes, if your horse is not well enough to ride without shoes, then you shouldn't be putting shoes, because, you know, it's just masking the problem. So I was a little nervous at first because I was afraid I was going to open this whole can of worms and, you know, deal with a lot of issues, but it's been a really nice transition, and that's why I highly recommend, if you've been thinking about it like as long as I've been thinking about it and researching about it, you can do it. Like, I think, check with your vet, make sure your vet is okay with it. Check with your farrier, make sure they're okay with it. Keep a close eye on them. Again, I heard or read that the farrier was supposed to come out regularly to like trim them up. But again, that was not the situation here in Israel. So I just took it amongst my hands to just try to see if it will help. And I feel like it's doing a lot more benefit than not. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to give it a thought right now, make sure if there's anything that I left out. You know, making sure that they have 24/7 forage is important to make sure they're getting the nutrients that they need. We are only forage farm. We don't use grain or anything like that, which I would love to use a hoof supplement. So that's something that I wasn't able to do because they don't offer that here. But if that's something that you have access to, that will probably help the experience and make it even more positive of experience. So yeah, I'm very grateful, like I said, to share it with you guys and to have the opportunity not only to have horses, but to hopefully give them a more horsey lifestyle. So thank you so much for tuning in for today's video. Again, I would love any comments, questions, advice, tips, tricks in the comments from you guys. It means so much to me, and I'm sending so much love. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. It supports us so much, so please do so. Also subscribe, turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss our weekly videos. We post at least twice a week at least. So we'd love to have you here, a part of the family. So thank you so much, you guys, and see you on the next video. Bye, everybody.